Welcome to today's video. I'm just gonna be completely straight up and honest with you guys. I am really struggling today, trying to focus on the positive of everything, but I am definitely beyond homesick at this point, and I'm really frustrated and stressed out because now I can fly back to Japan and my airline and everything's operating as per normal and I can get a flight home, but I can't get a flight home until we finish up everything with the Miata build, and I'm waiting on, turbo to arrive and all these other parts to arrive that are all been delayed because of the pandemic, so that I can finish this thing and go home. At this point, I just want to go home. I don't care if I get quarantined for 2 weeks. I'll just stream me playing COD on Twitch for 2 weeks. I just miss home. I want my own bed. I want to see my wife. There's so many other little things that, like, it's insane how much you take for granted and don't really realize it until you get stuck in one of these situations. But yeah, anyways, that aside, that is where I'm at. So if I seem a little bit off, especially like in the last week or so, today is probably the worst I've ever felt it. Anyways, that aside, we have this pink bit next to me. And I want to disassemble it and just look at everything because, the reason why it wasn't flowing, I'm sure, is internally it wasn't machined correctly, or the tolerance for the floating bearing is too tight and stuff like that. I don't know, but it could also just be that the oil pressure was way too much for this turbo. I don't know, there's a lot of factors with it, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it. We're gonna disassemble the turbo. I've never disassembled a complete turbo, like taken everything off. Now, one thing that sucks about when you disassemble these turbos, I believe that even if you assemble them back together the exact way you took them apart, they're no longer perfectly balanced and they need to be sent off to be rebalanced. So, when I'm done with disassembling this turbo and taking a look at it and showing you guys the internals, it's practically useless unless it gets rebalanced. So if any of you guys want it, we might do something where we'll give it away to one of you guys or something like that. I'll figure that out by the end of the video. But for now, let's pull this thing apart and see if we can find anything wrong with it internally. We got the chest mount on. Let's disassemble this turbo and see what we can find. I'm gonna try and go through this as quickly as I can because I wanna get onto some other things with the Miata today. So let's jump right into this. What do we got here? Wrong socket set. I think it's a 13, we need that. We're going to probably need a 12 as well. I don't think we need a 10, but anyways, let's start with this. Get the oil restrictor off. All this hardware I had to get from Home Depot as well, which is kind of the frustrating thing because it wasn't included in the turbo kit because they forgot it. Here we go, and look at that. Jeez, look at all that oil just sitting there like that. This is not how it's supposed to be. This thing's been sitting here for ages, and it took, like you can still see no oil's come out of the drain. It's kind of funny. But yeah, nothing's come out of the drain. Oh, there you go. Now some oil came out of the drain. That's kind of interesting. Anyways, 13 mil spanner or wrench, and we'll get all those off. So like I was saying, I'm pretty confident that there was some kind of blockage in the turbo, plus a combination of it having way too high of oil pressure, I think really contributed to the oil seals leaking. But even after then, when I changed the oil type and also put the restrictor in, it was still pretty smoky. Now normally seals, if there's too much oil pressure, it doesn't damage the seal where then if you put the correct pressure in it, it's going to keep leaking, you know what I mean? Normally the oil seals in these are pretty forgiving, and if there's just too much oil pressure where it pushes past it, you put a bigger restrictor in or you change the viscosity of your oil and then that's it, it's fixed. It doesn't just keep spewing out oil, but this continued to keep doing that. So that's why I think something internally is wrong with this bad boy. I'm going to go through here, we might speed this up. Get all these 13 mils undone. I should definitely take off that drain too. Make life a bit easier because that's in the way of some of these bolts. So I'll do that now. And pop this off. There we go. See?
This is also, a lot of people were saying that I may have had the drain and the feed mixed up. The drain has like a square shape here where you can see like all inside the turbo, and the feed has actually like a little thread there that you can see. Anyways, let's keep playing SAMMIT the scientist, mad scientist, and get these bolts out. Hell yeah. So the compressor housing should come off right away now. There we go. Geez, look at all that oil in there. On the compressor side too. Interesting. All in here. Engine oil. Interesting. So yeah, this was powder coated. Like these were all pulled off, and then it was powder coated. Like you don't put this whole core in the engine. Sorry, in the oven. But interesting. We're gonna need a 12 point for that, I think. And now the hot side. Oh, there's oil all over that. Jeez. All right. Interesting. Yeah, we're probably definitely going to need a vise for the next part of this, I think. What are these 8 mils here? I think we have to take that off once we get the compressor wheel off. Let me clean that up a bit with some brake cleaner, and then we'll move over to this vise, I think, once we get the right sockets for it. Just wants to spin it, doesn't want to take it off. Damn, this is hard. You know what? It's a reverse thread. Of course. That's why it wasn't working. It's reverse. Of course. How did I not figure that out? So there's the shaft. Oh, wow. It's full of oil in here. That's bad. Geez, this is very light. So there's a whole bunch of oil sitting on the inside here, on the compressor side. Okay. Okay, that kind of gave me a fright. Gave me a good fright. There's oil coming out. Hang on. What is all this? It's like oil and condensation, water? It's like, look at this. Weird. Okay. Well. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is one of the seals, right? Looks pretty good. It's gapped really far apart though. A little ring. Is there supposed to be a ring here? It looks like it's missing an entire second ring. Interesting. Yeah, I think there's supposed to be another ring here. Huh. Okay, that's weird. Because like that goes in against it like that. And that goes in there. Yeah, there's a second ring missing. Interesting. So it looks like it's missing one of its oil seals entirely. See this little gap here, guys? I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a second one there. If anyone knows in the comment section for sure, please let me know. That's very interesting. You can see definitely some scoring and stuff here on the shaft. I'm not sure if the GoPro is going to pick that up too well, but there's definitely some scoring here. And if I run my nail on there, it digs in. So there's definitely some damage on the shaft. Interesting. Okay, let's get these little 8 mils off that are on here and get this pulled off, and then we'll get in there and pull out the... Oh yeah, you can really see that journal bearing stuffed up in there and got a lot of wear on it, which is interesting because this thing had nothing but a lot of oil pressure. All right, let's pull that off. But yeah, it's looking like there's definitely some damage in there. What do we need? Some little 8mm. Oh boy, there we go. See, now we get to have a good look at the inside of this thing. Okay. This is so interesting. This is where the feed and stuff comes in. Interesting. Definitely looks like there's some material in here. I think the turbo's been like just destroying itself internally. Interesting. Here she comes. Out. This is so interesting. Oh, there's damage on this one too. I'm glad I'm filming this so I know how to put this all back together. So you got one seal here. And you can see that there's a second one in there as well. Okay. Interesting. This one went outside. And I don't know if you can see this too well, but it looks like there's some material up in here. Like some brass material from the turbo itself. It's kind of interesting. Glad I got an oil filter on my sister. All right, we'll put that back there for now. That's interesting that has a double seal on it, but the back doesn't. Now to get the journal bearings out, we got two C-clamps. One C-clamp here and another C-clamp here. So this is the drain and this is the inlet here. I see. I see. So there was a blockage here. That's what that material is. Okay, so the oil comes in through this part up the top here, and then it spreads down through these channels and then goes through these little holes into this front bearing here, and then drips out the bottom into this section here, which is then the drain, right? So it flows out of this top hole through all of this, which then oils everything on the shaft and the floating bearing, and then it dumps it all out in this section, which then goes into the drain. And you can see that there's a bunch of like material here. Let me see if I can get a little pick and we'll try to get that out. Wow. It's so like, it's not much, but I think it was enough to clog up the holes here. I don't know if the GoPro can show you this, but there's definitely some material there. So when the turbo actually did kind of clear up and get better after I put all that WD-40 and brake cleaner through it to clean it out and that compressed air, this is definitely in here. And that's definitely like a shaving of metal. Interesting. That's definitely like a piece of metal. Which I think is from this part here. You can see where it's been scraping. See this on the turbo here? There's all this damage here from it scraping. That's what it looks like. And there's like little pieces of brass too from inside the turbo here. Interesting. All right, we got one C-clamp out. Which means one of these journal bearings should now come out. There we go. Now this might be hard to see on the GoPro, but there is definitely a lot of wear on the inside of these. Interesting. All right, we got the other C-clamp out now. See if we can, there it is. The final journal bearing, which you can see here has a lot of wear on it as well. Wow, my nail catches all over this one. This one's bad. I don't know if you can hear that. This one's really badly damaged on the outside, and the inside has a lot of damage too. So you know what? I think we caught this early. Like, honestly, if this thing, I stabbed myself in the hand a bit with a pick, but I think we caught this early. If I kept running this turbo, we definitely would have dumped material into the engine, which could have caused a bearing failure. I'm gonna flush the oil out of the engine just to be sure, because this thing has definitely been chewing itself up and putting material into the sump, into the oil pan. But yeah, you can really tell that this was just not doing its job right. So another big factor of this oil feed, right? See this hole at the top here? It's hard to see on the GoPro, but it actually feeds the top of the bearings here too. And then it then dumps down in here into the drain. So there's the front part here that feeds oil through. And then there's the back part here where it feeds the top. You can see the little feed ports here on the top and where the journal bearing is, and then on the back. And you can actually see they were machined really bad. I need to get my other camera out and show you guys. 1 second. This shows you guys, but you can see the machining marks there in the top. And you can see just how dirty it is and sharp, and there's even almost looks like there's some little burrs in there. And you can see where the bearing's been rubbing on this rough edge here. Might be hard to see right now with the focus. You can see there? There's like a rough edge there that the bearing was grinding into. And then the same on this one now. This one's going to be a lot harder to show you guys because it's so deep in there, but you can really see the grinding lines in there from where the journal bearing was just destroying itself on the internal part of the turbo. Yeah, this was not either assembled correctly or machined correctly internally in this unit, because you can just see damage everywhere inside this thing, which it shouldn't have. Like, all the wear and the damage in these journal bearings is just shocking. Look at that. I hope the camera's focusing on that. Hang on. See all of the grinding marks in that journal bearing? It's bad. Like, they're deep grooves in this thing. Not only on the outside of it, but even on the inside of it. It's bad. So this turbo was bad from the get-go. I didn't even get to really use this turbo at all. You guys know we never even took it above wastegate pressure. So it was just, honestly, let's just be real. It's a junk turbo. They cost nothing. This is what you need to expect. And I really wanted to show you guys this because it's a really good thing for me to say, guys, it is worth you saving up money and getting a more genuine, better quality turbo. Now, I did initially get this. We got it powder coated and everything because I wanted to get a general look of the engine bay, hype people up and show them what it was going to look like with everything perfect in the engine bay with the color code. My intentions were always to change this to a new turbo that's coming. You guys are going to love it when it gets here. We're going to get some really good data on the dyno that shows the comparison. We're going to run the other turbo coming at 8 PSI to show you the data. But also just look at this. We pulled down the turbo and you can just tell that this was not put together correctly. No one really cared. It doesn't seem like there was really any proper quality control, and this is the result. Do you want to put one of these turbos on an engine that's worth a couple grand fully forged? The answer is no. And in hindsight now, I will never do this ever again. Ever, okay? Hold me to it, guys. Never again, all right? I'm glad we caught this when we did. If we kept running this turbo, for sure, the pieces of metal and stuff from internally from this would have made its way into that engine and potentially done damage. I mean, it could even have done damage already. We don't know. I think we're okay. I think we caught it early. We're going to drain. I've already drained the oil once. We're going to drain it again and just keep doing a few more flushes to make sure we get everything out. But I think we caught this early. I'm really glad I took this off and we didn't keep driving it. I was planning to maybe go for another drive with this thing and put some miles on the car. I'm glad we didn't, because this is a very clear reason why we don't do that and why the oil seals failed too. Come on. I've been reading your comments in the comment section, and I noticed tons of you were saying you wanted to buy all these little parts from the turbo and stuff, right? Now, here's what I actually want to do. We have 6 small items here that I'm going to take back with me to Japan, right? These 2 bearings, the shaft with one of the oil seals is not even installed on this, this is probably the piece that caused this whole turbo to fail. You've got this piece here, this piece, which is like the little oil I think that's actually probably the coolest part. It looks like something out of Stargate and looks sick. And then this as well, the compressor wheel. So these 6 items, the next 6 orders that come through on SAMMIT.net that are Ichigo Gang shirt orders, the S15 shirt that's on there. The next 6 orders will get one of these pieces randomly in your order, okay? There's no, like, it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any next 6 orders, you could get either one of these pieces. Whoever gets this is going to luck out, and whoever gets this is going to luck out. Honestly, I think this is literally the coolest piece. Like I said, it just looks like trippy and cool. Anyway, so that aside, the next 6 orders will get these 6 items randomly, and you have to be getting one of the S15 shirts. That aside, I want to do this. I think this is really, really cool. Now, this next thing is going to be its own listing on the online store. It's going to be fairly expensive because of its weight, but I'm going to fully assemble this turbo, the rear housing, the core. We're going to put this back on here, and then the compressor housing with the pink powder coat and everything. I will sign it. It'll have the actuator on there, and I'll also reattach the rear housing part here as well, this piece. And I'll list that on the online store for one of you guys to get. It's going to be listed, and it's going to be quite expensive because it's going to cost like $50 in postage just for me to ship this around the country. But just letting you guys know, this will be for the USA only, this thing, because it's just so heavy and I probably can't ship this internationally. These pieces with the Ichigo Gang shirt, these can go anywhere in the world. I don't have a problem with these. These are small, they're lightweight. They should be able to be included with whatever orders you guys place. As long as you get the Ichigo Gang shirt, you will get randomly one of these cool pieces. These would make really sick things. I don't know if you guys, like, if there's any girls watching my channel. YouTube says 1% of girls watch my channel. If you do, and if you're here, and if you're really into this stuff, some of these things would make really cool, like, random jewelry, like necklaces. At least that's what I think. I don't know what my wife would say. But anyways, that aside, that's what we're going to do with that. So get hyped. These will all be, this will be on the online store, and these will be thrown in the next 6 orders with the Ichigo Gang shirt in there. Okay?
So I think I'm going to leave the video here. I know all we did was disassemble a turbo and show you all the damage and talk about it. I'm actually really proud of myself because not once did I drop the line, that's a lot of damage. But anyways, the cringe aside, I really actually, like, it felt good pulling apart that turbo and knowing that I wasn't going crazy and there was definitely a lot of things wrong with it internally, especially the fact that it's missing one entire oil seal is kind of like, wow. I wonder how many other turbos come from that company like that. So there you go. Not really surprised, but also kind of surprised at the same time. And yeah, smash that like button, leave us a comment, tell me what you think, and I think I'm gonna wrap things up there. I'm gonna go home and just chill. As you guys know at the start of the video, I'm not feeling too good, really homesick. So I think I'm just gonna have some me time, play some COD, hang out with my friends, talk to my wife. And yeah, hope you guys don't mind the kind of directly focused video. We'll be back to our normal selves in a couple more days. So thanks guys, peace out, Jamata.